Hello, all back again. I'm just going to show you how to put together a mobile TVheadend setup. So if you're in the middle of a field somewhere and you want to watch Bargain Hunt like we all do, you can watch TV via the Raspberry Pi and your mobile phone or a tablet, or it could be used say in a caravan, or if you're a bit more fancy, a motorhome. I'm going to be doing this setup with a Raspberry Pi 3 and a Hotspot Nova TD, which is a twin tuner, and it can all be run off say a battery pack when you're out in the middle of nowhere. Right, first thing I'm going to do is go to the Raspberry Pi website. You can download the image via the image burning software, but I like to download it, so I'm going to go to software, just going to scroll down, and I'm going to go to manually install an operating system image. Going to click on see all downloads. Just going to scroll down. We want Pi OS Lite. Just going to click on download. I've already got it downloaded, so I'm just going to cancel that. Just close that down. Just going to go to Raspberry Pi Imager. We're going to use this to copy the image to an SD card. So you want to choose OS, then scroll down to the bottom where it says use custom. And there's my image file, so I'm just going to double click on it to select it. Then I'm going to go into storage and pick my SD card, 32 gigs, and then you just want to click on write and then yes. It doesn't take too long to write the light version, but I'll speed this up. And now it's just verifying. Nearly done. And that's finished. So I'm going to click on continue and I'll just close it down. One thing we need to do now is unplug the SD card from your PC and then plug it back in, because we need to add a little text file so we can SSH into the Raspberry Pi via PuTTY. Just going to click cancel on that window, on that little pop-up. So I'm just going to go into File Explorer, and this is my SD card. One thing you make sure you want to do is go into View, and where it says File Name Extensions, make sure you tick the box. Make sure that box is ticked. Now right click in an empty space. You want to go New, and then Text Document. And that's it down the bottom. You want to call it SSH. But the thing you want to do is remove the dot text. It just wants to say SSH. And then just click enter. And then yes. Right, that's all done. So I'll close that down. Thing you can do now for the first time is plug the SD card into your Raspberry Pi. You can also plug in your TV dongle before you power everything up. So once it's turned on, give it a few seconds to start up. Right, thing we're going to do is log into the Raspberry Pi via its IP address. You can either look in your router to find the IP address, or you can use a bit of software called Advanced IP Scanner. It's up to you, but it should be within your router. It should tell you the IP address of the Raspberry Pi. Right, we're going to use a bit of software called PuTTY to log into the Raspberry Pi. So where it says host name, you want to type in the IP address of your Raspberry Pi. Mine is 192.168.1.170. Thing you can do is give it a name and then save it. I've already got mine login saved, so I'm just going to click on it to load it. Then I'm just going to go into window. I'm just doing this so it's a bit clearer to see. And then I'm just going to click open. Accept. I'll just open my cheat sheet. Let's just make this a little bit larger. Just move it to the center. Login is Pi and the password is Raspberry as normal. Right, first thing we're going to do is update the Raspberry Pi. Just going to copy this text, copy, right click to paste, and then enter on your keyboard. Doesn't take too long to do. And there is 53 updates. Now I'm going to copy full upgrade, or sudo app full upgrade. Just copy it, right click to paste again, and then enter. Going to click Y for yes, and then enter on your keyboard. This may take a little while, so I'll speed this part up. Nearly done. Couple more seconds. Yep, and that's done. Thing I would do now is reboot the Raspberry Pi. It's always the best thing to do after an update. So I'm just going to type sudo reboot and then enter and click OK. Just give it a few more seconds to reboot. Just going to click on the top bar, going to right click, and I'm going to restart session. I'm going to log back into the Raspberry Pi. So it's Pi again, and then Raspberry for the password. Right, by default the Wi-Fi on the Raspberry Pi is turned off, so we're going to turn it on. So copy this text, right click to copy, then right click to paste it in, and then enter on your keyboard, and that's done. To set this up, to set up the access point, we're going to use a bit of software called RaspAP. I'll just show you their website. I'll put a link in the description. It gives you a description of, say, all the other features you can use with this software, which is free. So I'll just close that down. Right, so I'm going to copy this text to install. Right click to copy, and just right click to paste, and then click enter on your keyboard. It may take a little while to start up, but be patient and it will start downloading and installing. Yep, it's just started. You want to click Y for yes. And then enter. And then Y for yes again, and click enter on your keyboard. Now it's going to start installing. I'll speed this part up a little bit. Where it says session cookies, you want to click Y for yes, and then enter on your keyboard. For control service, we want Y again for yes and enter. Where it says we got ad blocking and enable, we're not going to be using that, so it's N for no and enter. And we're not going to be using a open VPN, so it's N for no. And that's all done now. So it wants to do a reboot, so we're going to click Y on your keyboard and then enter again. So that's now rebooting. So I'm just going to click OK. Going to give it a few seconds to reboot. Thing we do now, I'll show you the control panel. So I'm going to open my browser, and I'm going to use the same IP address I used before, so 192.168.1.170, and then enter. Login is username is admin, so I'm just going to copy it from my text file and paste it in, and the password is secret. Just going to copy it and paste it in. Right, this is your control panel. You can leave everything as it is, but I'm just going to show you how to change the name of the Wi-Fi hotspot and the password. So click on hotspot on the left. Right, you got the SSID, which is the name of the Wi-Fi. You can leave that as it is, it's up to you, but I'm just going to change it to TVheadend. And then I'm going to click save settings. Then I'm going to go up to security, and the PSK is the password for the Wi-Fi. You can leave it as it is, it's up to you, but I'm just going to change the password. I'm just going to scroll down to save settings. So that's all done. Now I'm going to restart the hotspot. So all my settings, well, my new settings all come up. Only takes a few seconds to do. And that's done. So if I go over to my Wi-Fi, it says there now I've got a new Wi-Fi, or say a Wi-Fi hotspot called TVheadend. So I know it's all up and running. If it's not up and running, make sure host APD is up. And you've got the little green circle. Right, so that's all done. I'm just going to close that down. Just going to right click on the top bar. I'm going to restart session. Log in again as Pi and then Raspberry. Thing we're going to do now is install TVheadend. So I just copy this text. Right click to copy. Then right click to paste, then enter on your keyboard. Doesn't take too long to install TVheadend. Y for yes, and then enter. I'll speed it up a little bit, but it doesn't take too long. That's the first part nearly done. Right, you want to give it a username. Make sure you remember this. I'm going to call mine TVheadend to keep it simple. Then enter on my keyboard. Then I'm going to give it a password. I'm just going to use TVheadend again. And then enter on my keyboard. And then OK. Or just click enter on your keyboard again. I'll just speed this a little bit up, but it doesn't take too long. Nearly done. 99%. Right, that's all finished. I do recommend rebooting the Raspberry Pi again. So I'm just going to type in sudo reboot and then enter on my keyboard. Just going to click OK. And we can close down Putty now. We've finished using that. Now we're going to log into the Raspberry Pi. So it's the same IP address again, which for me was 192.168.1.170. Was it colon 9981? I think that's a colon. Just going to select it all and copy. Just going to open the browser and just paste it in and then enter. Now type in the username you set up earlier. So mine is TVheadend and my password is TVheadend as well. And then sign in. Now you want to set your language. I'm going to select mine to English. Then you want to set the language for the EPG. Let me scroll down a bit. Where are you? Oh, there we are. English again. Then save and next down the bottom. Just click the button. It will pop up again for some reason, so click save and next again. And that's done. I don't have any passwords on mine, so I star everything out. It's entirely up to you if you want to set passwords on everything, but I don't bother. I like to keep my setup simple, so I just star everything. Then save and next again. I'm using a twin tuner. We're not going to be using IPTV, so we can leave that. We just want the DVB-T network. And same again on the second one. And save and next again. Now we're going to pick our nearest transmitter. Just scroll all the way down to the bottom and back up. Where are you? Crystal Palace. It's the nearest one for me. Going to click save and next again. It doesn't take too long to scan. You're only talking about 30 seconds to a minute. Not even that sometimes. Nearly done. So that's finished scanning. Progress 100%. So I'm going to click save and next again. And you'll want to tick all three boxes. And save and next again. and then finish. Right, so that's all done. So that's all up and running. There's a couple of changes I'll make, or little tweaks. You should be fine with, say, the EPG data, but there's one little thing I change. First thing you want to do is go user interface level and change it from basic to expert. Then save on the bar at the top left. And then you want to go channel and EPG. And EPG grabber modules. You most probably won't have to touch this. I just turn it on just in case. And down the bottom you will see over the air UK free view. So I highlight it, just left click on it, and where it says enabled, tick the box, and then save on the left, top left. Right, so that's done. And then I go into the recording tab and I change stream profile. I can't pronounce it, but it gives you MK3 files, or MKV, not MK3, MKV files. And on padding, I set it to start 2 minutes before recording, and then I set it to record 5 minutes after the recording. So 2 minutes before and 5 minutes after. And then I click save. That's just a few changes I make. It's entirely up to you if you want it, if you do that, but I normally do. Right, so that's all done and all set up. Thing I do now, I'll show you the settings, say on an iPhone and then on an Android tablet. So I'll just swap over to my iPhone first. First thing you want to do is go into your settings on your iPhone, go into Wi-Fi, and there's the TVheadend hotspot we set up earlier. So I'm going to connect to that. And I've connected. I use a bit of software called TVH Client on my iPhone, and when it starts it should search for a server, and it's found it. Just going to click done and then save up in the top right hand corner. So there's all my radio and TV channels, everything's listed. So I'll just test one of the channels. Just let it spin round. I'll just go into one more to make sure everything's working right.
They're manufactured here at the Extra Factory in Hunza, Germany. Production director Gunter Hacken has been in charge for over 25 years.
Thing I'll do now is swap over to my Android tablet. So the thing you want to do again is go into your Wi-Fi settings and connect to the TVheadend hotspot. And on Android I use Dream Player for TVheadend. I'll just start the software. Just going to click the arrow down the bottom right for the next page. Going to tick the little box for I accept the policy, and then the little arrow again down the bottom right. The receiver address is the static address of the Raspberry Pi, which this time, when you connect to the Raspberry Pi via the hotspot, is 10.3.141.1. So it's 10.3.141.1. and same again for streaming receiver 10.3.1.4.1.1. Then just click the arrow down the bottom right, and again, and again. I'll just let it spin round. I'll just update the EPG. Just drag the screen down and it updates. I'll just test one of the channels. And that's all working fine. So that's all done. So that's how you set up a mobile TV headend setup. One thing I was wondering though, whether this would also work for a Plex setup, which I might try in a day or two. And as always, I hope this video's helped, and goodbye.